In this lecture, we're doing a handful of things. We're adding some gravity, or at least we're changing the gravity. We're adding some drag and fiddling around with player rocket constraints and a few other things. So let's get started. The very first thing I'm going to do is hide my camera lines because it gets in the way. I think it looks messy. I'm going to click on my main camera and the little eyeball over to the left, I'm just going to click on that so that I don't have to see the lines anymore. I might even click off the Cinemachine camera so I don't see that either. Now it's emptiness. Great. It's still there. It's still working, etc. If I click on game view, we can see that's what we see, but I just don't have to see it in my scene. What do we do next? Okay, I've got a list here. Let's have a look at the list. We're going to tidy up our movement and do a few things in general. First of all, we're going to plonk in an obstacle, so we've got something to avoid. We're going to freeze the constraints on our rocket. We're going to fix our obstacle hitting bug due to momentum that you haven't seen yet, but I've seen from my prototyping, and we'll fix that to make sure it's not a problem. We're going to set our drag value. Drag's a cool thing. We'll talk about drag, and then we'll fiddle with our world gravity a little bit. Let's click on our player, and within here, if we scroll down and find our rigid body, you can see constraints. Constraints have the ability to freeze position and rotation. Let's start with position. What position do you think we need to freeze and not freeze? Let's have a look. Well, I don't want my player to be going forwards and backwards in the world because I want this to be just a side-scrolly type thing where, if I can click on it, where the rocket ship's just going left to right and up and down. And left to right is X and up and down is Y, and innie outie is Z or Z. So I'm going to find, again, my rigid body, freeze position, I'll freeze the Z axis. Actually, before I do that, I'll scroll all the way up and just make sure that the position of my rocket ship is at the 0 for the parent player object here, because I want it to go right along this 0 line. Therefore, I know if anything I put on that 0 line, so 0 on the Z value, the rocket can potentially bump into. So we do have that on Z, Z as 0, which is great. Next, let's have a look at rotation. Well, zoom in a little bit here. Actually, I'll click on E for rotation. I pretty much only want my rocket ship to rotate that way, which is, again, on the Z axis, isn't it? I don't want it to rotate on the X or rotate on the Y. So therefore, we will freeze the X and the Y and leave the Z as cool. Let's just click on play, make sure that is behaving as expected. I can rotate that way, and I can not... I'm trying to crash so I can see. Yeah, it looks like I'm all good on my position from a Z point of view. Cool. Oh, you know what? I skipped a step. I said we're going to add something to collide with first of all, didn't I? And then I jumped straight into freezing rotations and stuff. So let's click on our Game Dev TV assets, or wherever it is that you've got your assets. If you're using something different, click on the models. As we've talked about before, these are our FBXs that have been prefab, but they're sort of prefabs. So we can't actually change or modify these prefabs at all, because they're FBXs, they're models. You need to change them in a program like Blender. We can drag them into our scene and then create variants of these particular prefabbed FBXs. So let's find something we're going to drop in there. Just whatever you want. It's something to fly over. I'm going to drop in this big sort of whatever this is. It's a thing. It's a part. But for now, it's going to be an obstacle that's menacing and we have to avoid it. I'm going to hold down Control as I rotate, just so I can get it exactly in line. And then move it up a little bit. Do we need to make it bigger? Okay, R for scale, scale up, scale up. I'm going to squeeze it in a little bit just so it's not bumping into the camera. Move it up in the air a little bit. There we go. There's a thing for us to navigate our way over. Actually, let's put it up a little bit higher for some reason. Why is it floating? I don't know. It's magic. It's space, Rick. Can't you tell? It's space. That's why it's floating. Cool. Now if I click on play and fly, I fly over the thing and get to the launch pad. Look at that. That's ship it. It's ready. It's a game. Done. Now we need to have a look at our object. You can see I've just dragged into the world the FBX. It doesn't have any collision information on it yet. So what we need to do is add collision. I'm going to give myself plenty more space because I'm about to drag this back down as another prefab variant. Actually, I've got two prefab folders. Sorry about that. I've got my prefab folder that I'm working on from my project. And then there's the prefab folder that came with the assets that only had one prefab in it. So you could go and put your prefabs in there, but I like to have my prefab folder at this higher level. And the reason I would leave the folder structure under this assets is it's a good practice, because if you've got assets you've downloaded from the asset store, they should maintain a consistent folder structure, even if they do updates or there's a new version. So if you've got something from this prefab folder that's within this asset folder, it should remain within there. Whereas if I'm making my own prefabs, I want to have my own prefabs in my own prefab folder. Hopefully that all makes sense too and is clicking. Now I'm going to add a collision. I mentioned that before and didn't do it. Add collision, box collider. Is it a box collider? It's kind of want a box collider, but it's rounded. I made a bit of a mistake choosing a round thing, didn't I? That was a bit silly. Let's see if we can find a collider to fit this kind of feels like it would be a capsule collider, so let's put a capsule collider on it. That's quite massive, but it gives us a chance to fiddle around with capsule collider. It's got a radius. Let's make that something that feels a little bit more like the right size. It's a little bit circular at the moment, and we've got the height. You see how the capsule is looking at, it's like a y-axis capsule, whereas our object is more like a z-axis object. I probably should have put the capsule collider on before I rotated it, but that's cool. We can change the direction here to be z-axis. That doesn't quite look right, does it? Is it the x-axis? And if we change the height of that, there we go. That's what we wanted. It was x-axis all along. And we'll decrease the radius a little bit. So there we go. You just need it pretty good. And honestly, it only needs to be relevant or accurate on that right down the middle line, our middle of our Z value in here, because that's where the player is going to fly above it. So it looks pretty good for now. If I now click on play and bump into it, what happens? Boing! It hits it. Look at that. We've made an object that we can collide into. Wonderful. And you know what? Now's where we're going to start to see our issue. If I can get back on my feet again. Poor rocket has had a tough time. Get back on its feet. If I'm rotating and colliding with something, that's when I'm going to have an issue where I've got this fighting between the physics system and me saying to rotate. So I want to fix that issue. See if you can find that bug. Actually, it might make a bit more sense to you if you can do that as well. Oh, it's still in there. Look at that. I accidentally started moving before I even took off. So start moving before you take off, and then take off, and see how it continues to want to move to the right. It does some weird things like that. Basically, we're saying rotate, and the physics system is saying rotate. And when we're rotating, we want to be the king of rotation and not have the physics system try to rotate at the same time as well. So let's open up our script, our movement script. Scroll all the way down to where we've got apply rotation. What we want to do is freeze the rotation while we are rotating. And the way we do that is to access the Rigidbody.freeze rotation. You're not allowed to rotate at all. And we're going to set that is true, so equals true, semicolon. And then, so within this one apply rotation, basically whenever we say move left or move right, we're going to say, okay, freeze the physics system. You're not allowed to do rotation. We're going to do it. We rotate ourselves left and right. And then after we've done doing our rotation, we're going to do what? Here's a little micro challenge for you. I'm going to RB freeze rotation equals false. So in other words, you're no longer frozen. We'll save that. Back over into Unity. That's one of those little bug fixes that I knew about already. That's why I'm sort of fixing it for us before we get it. Click on play. Now if I'm trying to rotate left and I'm sort of bumping into the physics system, it knows as soon as I tap on the key, it says, cool, I'll let you take care of rotation. I'm not going to try to do anything. So if I'm bumping into this object, it's all good. Okay, I think we've fixed that bug. And you know what we didn't do? We didn't create a prefab out of our tank here, which is a good thing for us to do because we've gone and put collision on it. If we want to use this again, then it's good to have a prefab. We don't have to. We can drop it in. We can duplicate this. We can modify it. You absolutely don't have to do prefabs. But if we go and modify this tank at all and put other things on it in addition to the collider, then it's good to not have to do that time and time again. So open up our prefabs folder, drag our dropship tank into there. Now we've created a prefab variant. You can tell it's a prefab variant because it's got the little shading on the side. This is what the prefab itself looks like. If it's just a straight up prefab, that's a prefab variant. And if we go into our assets, this is the symbol for a prefab of an FBX that we know we can't go and change the original of this. So where are we there? It's from that one there, the dropship one. We can't change that original because it's got a whole bunch of extra information on it. And it's like, you can't change that. You got to go into Blender to change that. So we've gone and created a prefab variant of that, which is this dropship over in here, which now we can go modify this prefab variant all we want. And it'll derive from this FBX, but it won't change the FBX. We'll be changing the prefab variant itself. If prefabs and prefab variants aren't quite clicking yet, that's okay. The more we do it, the more it will click, and the more projects we work on together, the more different ways that we'll do this, and it'll all sink in, I promise you. So from our list, what have we done? Obstacle, yep. Freeze constraints, yep. Obstacle hitting, bug, yep. Set our drag value, that's what's next for us. And just a quick note, this is Rick from the future. Since the time of recording, the name drag has been renamed in Unity. It's been renamed to damping. So when I talk about drag, I'm actually talking about damping. Specifically, I'm talking about linear damping. And if you see in Rigidbody, you'll now see linear damping and angular damping, whereas before this was called drag and angular drag. So just so you understand what's going on there, please forgive me when I'm talking about drag because, hey, now it's called damping. If you click on your player rocket and scroll down to the rigid body, you'll see a bunch of cool things in here. Use gravity, angular drag, mass, etc. Let's have a look at this. So drag is basically, imagine the wind resistance as you fly through the atmosphere. So dampening factors that affect how this body resists linear motion. If we put this up really high, so 58 just randomly, and then I can't even get off the ground. I've got that much resistance happening. So that's way too much. Let's reduce the drag down to something that's not quite so crazy. We'll put it 5. See how 5 feels? So if I drag up and then slowly back down again. So everything's happening so slowly, the up and the down. If we added a ton more force, then we would fly up a lot quicker, but the drag, the wind resistance is still going to slow us down. So that's way too much as well. Let's have a play around with it. Feel free to play around with the drag and see what you think is good. I'm just going to have a guess and say 1. My goal here is that when I shoot up in the air and then I slowly, when I let go, I slowly start to not go so fast. So you don't just go zinging the whole way across the screen. There's a little bit of drag and resistance in the air or the atmosphere, which is what we want. So I think that's okay at 1 for now, but we'll tune that again later on. And then the last thing I wanted to do was fiddle with the world gravity, because we're applying gravity to our rocket, we're applying thrust to make it go up, we're applying gravity within the world to have it come back down. We've got some drag so that it slows down over time. If you go up into Edit, find Project Settings, click on Physics Settings, and in here you can see we've got gravity currently applying. So I think this on the y-axis, minus 9.81, that's Earth-type gravity that we're applying. So if we want it to be more like Moon-type gravity, then what would we do? Probably have the gravity less aggressive. And okay, let's just do a little fun, silly experiment here. Let's put this to positive 5 for the gravity. What do you think will happen with positive 5 gravity? I'm just going to pop this window to the side and bring it back in a moment. If I click on play, we drift up into the air because we've got positive gravity on the y-axis. It's really cool. You could put gravity on the x-axis or z-axis. For us, it would be the x-axis. If you wanted a wind factor that was blowing your rocket to the left or blowing your rocket to the right, you could play around with gravity to simulate that. For now, I'm going to say, let's do -4 to kind of have this light atmospheric type gravity. So if I click on play, zoom up in the air, and then I'm more slowly going back down again. So you can tell that's not Earth-like gravity because you go plonk if it was. It's a little bit more lunar type gravity, and we've got a bit of drag in there, so you thrust and then you slow down. It's all feeling a little bit slow at the moment, but when we've got obstacles and more things going on, we can refine this and have it feel exactly what we want. But we've got in there now gravity, we've got in drag, we've frozen our constraints, and feeling pretty good about the overall functionality for our gameplay and our rocket. That's all I wanted to cover in this lecture. I'll see you in the next one.